homies? It's your boy, Hash Info. We're gonna do a few for Jeremy Bray. I just finished crying, so... I think understanding Jeremy Bray's story will help others in the future, you know? It seems like the Manitoba system, the healthcare system that's definitely lacking in Manitoba, is failing Jeremy Bray entirely. You can get free treatment in Alberta if you're over 25 and you have a degenerative disease. They treat it for free in Alberta. Alberta is in Canada. I just want to understand why Albertans have not only better healthcare, but a better province than Manitoba. Why do Albertans get to have so much more than Manitobans? It's not I'm not crying. I'm trying to understand, how do we establish or create better healthcare here in Manitoba like Albertans have? What are we doing wrong? What aren't we doing that they are doing? So I guess understanding is the first step, right? To figuring out why Manitoba can't seem to pay for a treatment for a young man who, you know, he's never stolen a vehicle, he never ended up in jail, like he did nothing wrong. Why is Manitoba penalizing him for being a Manitoban? You know what I mean? If he was an Albertan, they would have began treating him months and months ago and not put him and his family through incredible amounts of stress. I was reading, it says a year's worth of Jeremy Bray's treatment comes to $300,000. Who in their right mind charges somebody $300,000 for something that probably, we don't know. We will never know the true cost of how much it was for them to make that. We don't know how many people or what sort of tests they ran for free off people to now be charging them. Do you know what I mean? We don't know the parameters that gave them the formula to create this medicine, we'll call it. I don't know what to call it. I'm really, really disappointed in so many areas of the medical fields in Western medicine. These Western medicines are derived from plants from Asia. Like Asian medicine is so different from Western medicine. Where they recognize herbal and therapeutic homeopathic remedies as really good, here in Canada and the States, they don't even talk about them. But why? Who then profits when you don't say which plants and vegetables are healing? Who profits? Who profits when Canada takes all their healthy vegetables out, like they have in Asia, out of the markets, and they replace them with these hollow vegetables that are completely 100% GMO'd? Who profits then? The answer is very easy. But folks, you gotta remember, you gotta think about it like this. Ask yourself first, quickly, who profits first and foremost. Ask yourself very quickly, secondly, who allows them to profit? Guys, I'll see you next time, eh? There's only one person that oversees them, and it's them. So when you do the math of you are not able to heal yourself with the food from your country because your country has banned or taken away farmers' rights or depleted farmers' resources. And these farmers were specialists in growing these specific types of fruits and vegetables that were healing the nation. You know what I mean? And replace them with what? You know what I mean? Hollow potato farms all over Canada. Like, I mean, what is this world coming to, guys? If you're at the grocery store right now and you're like, hey, which vegetable can I pick up to get healthy? And you reach for a bag of potatoes, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for you. If you're at the grocery store tonight and you're thinking, geez, I bet you potatoes would be a good vegetable to have tonight. I'm really, really sorry for you. Because you're going to make that bland potato, you're going to pump it full of what? Milk, salt, butter, oil, cheese. And you think that potato is now healthy? You could have just went out and bought a whole pizza and, you know what I mean? Had the same meal. Had the same nutrient-dense meal. Maybe even not as good if you had veggies on your pizza. Your pizza's doing better than your meal. So guys, I just want you to think about the facts, alright? People in Canada are suffering. People in Manitoba are definitely suffering at the hands of the people who allow others to profit off these $300,000 a year drugs. There's only one group of people in Manitoba that are stopping Jeremy Bray from accessing free health care. I've been talking about these people since damn near day one on the show. And I've always said that Louis Riel is a legend. Louis Riel forced their hand and they showed how extreme they and awful and rotten they really truly are. To all the people who played a part in Louis Riel's demise, and even your children, I banish you to a world full of hurt and evil forever. I wish you never a day of happiness in your life. I hope the people wise up in England. I really do. I hope the people wise up in England. The people in England are so soft, you know. So soft. water this got nice and clean. There's a good show on Apple TV called Loot, and it features a woman who's a billionaire and pretty much has like a billionaire lifestyle, like mindset, you know, how a billionaire would act and things like that. Oh, but there's a lot of Easter eggs in there. A lot of Easter eggs. And you got to ask yourself, who are they making these, basically these life-changing drugs for? Are the companies who are using us as research tools, right? So the only way to get it authenticated as a legit drug is if you do clinical trials. You have to have clinical trials before your product can hit the market, and then your IPO and your company is making trillions, okay? So what happens is you have to have clinical trials that the backing says that people are being, their life is being upgraded. You know, it's a better life after they've taken these things. Now, their life has improved is pretty much the term. But there has to be a lot of validity to this, and there has to be a lot of patients who feel the same, okay? So that's how this works. But what we don't know is how many people are in these trials. How many people? So one of the ways that they say this goes is they're basically, if they were to use this specific type of drug that they're talking about for Jeremy Bray, if they were to run clinical trials with this one, they say it is working, but one of the reasons they say it's kind of it's kind of like unempathetic is because a clinical trial means 50% of them get it, 50% of them don't get it. And this says, and they all have to have the same, you know, baseline, you know, levels of can only move one finger, you know, two fingers. One guy can't be running and just can't blink straight. You know what I mean? They all have to be the same baseline for testing. It's very hard to do, but once you can find that group or those people, you then have to give the cure or the antidote or what is working that they say is working, so the medicine can only be given to a portion of the group. They have to see the other group breaking down while the other group stays and actually gets a little bit more mobility each day, each week, each month. So it's not that it's unconstitutional, it's that it's unempathetic. Like they already know that this does work. It's a weird wording, but it hasn't had enough clinical trials for it to be passed through. So it's still an experimental, right? Now this is the fine line, and it's like an oxymoron. If it's experimental and you need to get a clinical trial, isn't it okay if Jeremy Bray were to get it? Because then they could test him to see, okay, he was here. He started here 6 months ago and he's here now. You know what I mean? He's at this point, he's moving this much, these different parts. To me, it's just a no-brainer that he should get it. His level of degenerative loss in his body of muscle function and that is very extreme. So if we can see improvement in his own specific bot, like his own person, then that gives other people a bit more hope that, maybe it might work on them too, right? I think we do a clinical trial wrong. I think we are always looking for a mass group of people. But what if it's a disease or something that only a few people get? Is it still important that we cure those few people? Or do we throw those few people with that rare degenerative disease, to the side and be like, no, sorry, we can't help? Of course not. We should help everybody, right? And if it is working for Jeremy, he should already be on it. For the NDP and the health minister of Manitoba to not give Jeremy Bray a continuation of the medication, Manitoba is failing Jeremy. And it made me cry a lot, and I'm not happy that there are people who don't think that money comes before lives, right? And Manitoba, this is proof. Manitoba values money over Manitobans. And I won't stand for that. So I'm going to try and help by adding the Winnipeg Jets, hassling Mark CHIPMAN, the WWE, I can ask in WWE to chip in. But between 7 major organizations, Netflix could pay for it, Elon Musk could pay for it, any of these yuppity billionaires that have yachts, Facebook goof, Instagram goof, X goof, you got Sergey Brin goof from Google, he's got 7 yachts. These goofs could help out the Walmart heiress goof with $350 million yacht. People that are spending $65,000 to on electricity for their boats every day as they're docked. These goofs could be paying for Jeremy's cure in 5 days of just shutting the damn boat off for 5 days. You could pay for Jeremy's medicine. You're not even in it. You're somewhere in Europe driving around in a Maserati. You know what I mean? Just shut the fucking boat down. Pay for Jeremy Bray's cure, or his medicine. We don't know if it's a cure, but it is helping. He says it's been helping. He's been on it for 6 months, and then they just cut him right off it. I mean, this seems like the most cold-hearted province to live in Canada, and it's a shame that I have to say these things and mean it. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. People have deemed Manitoba like it's like a slave pit that doesn't. We're not allowed to look for bodies without petitioning the government after a serial killer admits that he killed a bunch of people and put them in dumpsters and stuff. We have to beg for 16 months while the garbage piles up. And if it weren't for those good people who went there to Brady landfill and stood there and said, no, you guys aren't coming in today, because we're not piling garbage on top of all our ancestors, okay? So, these people, Manitoba government is a big failure, huge failure. I think the entire thing needs to be revamped, and all the laws in Manitoba need to be struck down, and we'll copy and mimic laws from Alberta and Quebec. I don't know what happened in Manitoba, but we're getting a shit show. We get the shit end of the stick every single day, and I'm sick of it. But I want to understand who initiated and who is keeping these laws in place, these sick, disgusting, archaic laws that need to be brought down immediately to prevent further harm to come to Manitobans unnecessarily. You know what I mean? Super unnecessarily. It just screams pathetic to me. But I strongly believe that there's a lot of people in Manitoba that are profiting off of how the understanding of what's happening here. I believe there's a lot of people that own businesses and they're backdooring both sides of it. Their family is govies, and they're just keeping the laws in place while they keep their corporations funneling through. And it's a joint venture, and it's gotten to the point where it's so obvious, it's just in your face now, right? You can see people who are multi millionaires running business deals in Manitoba, real estate deals in Manitoba, far too connected in certain areas than they should be in Manitoba with other entities that are, backdooring free advice, if not, basically what Martha Stewart got caught for. It's kind of all I can tell you right now, but somebody did just pay a fine regarding this. They got a slap on the wrist, and they got a sweetheart deal from the judge. And in Manitoba, I'm telling you straight up, the judges give sweetheart deals to government officials all the time. All the time. You can look at the Crocus Fund. You can look at, there's some major raw stank ass land deals that went down with Gary Filman, Gary Dewar. These are the premiers of the province. These are the real people that run Manitoba. And and their families, their daughters, all these people are all over Manitoba with more land than they should have. But do you know how that works? It's called a land deal, bud. You don't have to give birthday presents.